Hi everyone. I just want to share a story with you about me going out to Reggae Fest on what is it? It was Saturday, March 4th. So me and my sister-in-law, we wanted to get out and have us a good time. It's something that we used to do when they used to have all the reggae events in Long Beach and stuff. We would always make sure we go every year because we would have such a good time. Well, over the years, with just life happening, you just kind of just live life, raising your kids, working, doing things, you kind of get separated, but you always connect back. So we've been connecting a lot lately. She actually moved to Belize, but she's been coming back and forth, to um, help her mom get situated to sell her house and send things back to Belize and stuff like that. So um, this is who I'm speaking about is my ride or die. Like, she's my everything. Like, she's a sister that, God sent me. So I just want to share a story with you. We went to the Globe Theater downtown on Broadway and 8th Street. And so me and her, we always have a really, really good time. So the event started at 10 o'clock. It was supposed to go from 10 o'clock to 3 o'clock. So we were like, oh, yeah, we got to rest up, so we can hang, like we do. And so everything was going good. We was excited, we get in there. Um, we got there at about like 10:30. So we get in there, nice vibe. They hadn't started yet or whatever. And then we was also what we was expecting we didn't get, but it was okay because it was good to just get out. We wouldn't have been doing anything else. So while we were there, everybody, club wasn't filled yet. And of course, if it's 10 to 3, you're expecting it to get filled. But when you're going out, to these events and places and things like that, there's guidelines that they have to follow. So you wouldn't expect for the place to get overly packed. I mean, it will get packed, but you wouldn't expect it to just be like overly packed where you can't even move around. Like, that's a hazard. So, and you get it, if it's, you know, an event where, expecting a lot of people to come out, you get it. You're going to have to, like, you're going to be moved around, or you never know what to expect. Anything could happen. So, one of the things that happened first, me and her, we're vibing, we're chilling, dancing and everything. Um, First, I hear security at the bar, security at the bar. And I'm like, all right, here it goes. So she immediately grabbed me and pushed me back. She started taking me back. All I saw, I was looking at her. I looked at the fear in her face. Like, we're both looking at each other. Like, okay, what we gonna do? So she grabbed me, we pulled back. We go. Everybody's rushing to go to get away from whatever was going down. I guess it was like a fight or something. So that was one. So we go to the front of the theater, near the entrance. For one, near the entrance is as soon as you walk in, there's the bar. So that's like weird to have a bar at the entrance. I get it. When you get in, get you a drink. There was like 3 bars in the place. So anywho, we wound up back over that way. And so then, after it seemed like everything calmed down, we was like, well, do you want to make it back up to the front where, kind of where we were standing? So we go back over there, made it back to our spot. And it was like, it just seemed like everywhere we went, it was just a bad spot to be. I know when people is drinking and stuff like that, they're not in their right mind or whatever, but you are very conscious of, what you're doing unless you really, really get intoxicated. We all have been there. But it was just really an awkward night. I was still trying to have a good time. But I was just like, wow, how things has really, really changed, because people were like pushing you, they wasn't saying, excuse me. I literally experienced, this is one of the third things that happened. I literally experienced a guy coming through saying, excuse me, excuse me, excuse me. And he looked right at me and was literally just going to push me over. And there was nowhere else for him to go. Like, you just needed to be patient. Like, you needed to take your time to get where you wanted to get. So I'm looking at him like I'm looking at you right now, looking at all of you right now, like, are you going to push me down? So my sister was standing next to me and he had a friend with him. And so he's following his friend, but he's looking at me and my sister. So my sister was like, so what are you going to do? What's your brother? What is he going to do? Knock my sister up? What is he doing? And so little does she know, like, I don't play. I have to work on myself. I have worked on myself because I'm much older now, but I tend to fight if I have to. I take care of myself. I've always have. But I was like, if he pushes me down or anything, he's coming with me. So I was preparing myself mentally while I was looking at him. So I believe when he looked at me, he realized, like, wait a minute. And then he started apologizing. Like, I'm sorry. He was like, and I'm like, my sister telling him, like, you need to have patience. There's nowhere else you can go. Like, take your time. So we got past that. And then I was like, okay, let me try to figure out if I can still hang and enjoy. We wanted to see some artists. That's what we were expecting. However, we didn't get to see any artists or whatever. We wound up getting what do you call those? Let me go get it for you. These lights here. Can't see it because I have my lights on right now, but if you can see it a little bit. We wound up getting one of these, so you can wave it in the air, little trinket. But anywho, so we were still trying to enjoy ourselves, but after getting pushed around so many times, like everywhere I went, it was just like people bumping into you and pushing you. So, you already have to be aware of your surroundings everywhere you go, with everything that's happening these days. So we head towards the front, to try to get a spot to stand, and just kind of stay out of the way a little bit. But it just seemed like everywhere we went, it was just a path, So come to find out, when I finally decided, like, are you ready? Because it just seemed like it was getting more and more packed. And like I said, no matter what we did, it was just like it wasn't a good spot. So we decided to leave. Now, mind you, where we were standing at, it seemed like it was most likely the only spot you can leave out in and enter in, which I'm sure, yeah, it was the only spot you can enter and exit. So we were ready to exit out, right? So there was other people that was trying to leave as well. And it's only about, I want to say maybe about 12 o'clock at the most at that time. Or maybe about 12 o'clock, in between 12 and 1 o'clock. So we were heading out to leave out. So we were trying, take our time to slowly ease on out, and there were other people leaving out. So we focused on this really, really tall guy. And so my sister was like, oh, well, I'm going to go with him. So mind you, I'm like right with her. I'm standing right next to her. So they managed to get through, and then all of a sudden I'm being pushed back into the club to where I couldn't even get out. I was being pushed back into the club, and I was like, now, wait a minute now. So, after I finally was able to get out after being pushed back, which was a little scary, but I made it out of there. And I just couldn't believe it. When I got outside, I was like, what the heck? So I was explaining to her because she was looking for me. And I'm like, girl, I was like, I got pushed back. I was like, I don't know how that happened, but it happened. So then I look over to the right where when we came when we were coming to the club where you had to stand in the line to, show your ID and show your ticket, the line was so long. And then one of the employees that worked there was talking to my sister, and so I went over there and started talking. I went over there and started talking as well, and I was just like, "That's ridiculous. That's really really ridiculous. Like that's I mean, it's just nothing you could do. You can't even enjoy yourself in there." And so he was just like, well, yeah, he was explaining to me that the owner, I want to say he said, the owner of the club wanted to fill the place up. And so she was charging $70 to get in there. Um, and that was just the plans to just let them all in. I couldn't believe it because that's a fire hazard. Like, if something was to really, really go down, now how in the hell were we going to get out of there? I don't know. I just couldn't believe it. So I'm sharing this story just to let you guys know I didn't have a good time, and, just be aware of your surroundings and be careful when you go out, because, yeah, something like that just was totally unacceptable. Um, So yeah, that was our night at the Reggae Fest. But I won't let that stop me. I'll find another event to go to and enjoy myself. Me and her will plan. And the funny thing is, at the end of the night, she was just like, "Well, we tried," which was funny. Cause yeah, we always go out and have a good time, but I guess that just wasn't meant to be that night. So yeah, alrighty. Until next time, I hope you enjoyed my story.